A masterclass, Matt, as well. What a game from old heads, Mata, Matic, and Ronaldo. Absolutely stepping up to the plate. I'm with my co-host and analyst Vim and my man Emad. It's been a long-awaited performance. We had goals from Bruno Fernandes in the 9th minute. He got his 50th goal. We had Cristiano Ronaldo in the 61st with a penalty. Rafael Varane on the 72nd. He got his first goal for United. Boys, give us your thoughts. Vim, you're first up. Let me know what you thought of the game, buddy.
It was brilliant actually. It was nice. It was refreshing to see a team play like that has been so bad for so many months. If we had played like that from the beginning of the season, imagine where we'd be now. I think it was wonderful to watch. And looking at the lineup, you think that's a team of professionals, and that's probably the team that we should have had from day one. And I really wish that Mata could have had a more active part of this in this season. Started many more games. The midfield was much more creative than what we used to. Having Fred and McTominay in there, one at a time I think is good, not both. Fred looked a bit rusty, giving the ball away quite a lot, but yeah, it was refreshing to watch. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I suppose the performance was refreshing, and being that it was our last game at home at Old Trafford this for the season, it was you'd say it was about time that they gave the fans something to cheer about. I mean, I can't remember the last time we kept a clean sheet, let alone kept one at home as well. But I've got mixed feelings about this one. Like, I'm happy with the result, but then I'm kind of annoyed that now they've decided to pull their finger out. Like, everyone put in a shift. Like, where was this all season? What? Because we've done it against Brentford. And I know Brentford have had some big results against some of the bigger clubs. Where was our motivation throughout the rest of the season? And why is it taking so long now? Like, is it because we've given this farewell to the likes of Juan Mata and, Nemanja Matic? And who else is leaving? Lingard didn't get his send-off, but I'm a bit annoyed that we've left it this late. That's all.
Well, let's look at the lineup. We had De Gea in goals, Dalot, Lindelof, Varane, Telles, Matic, McTominay, Mata, Bruno Fernandes, captain again, Ronaldo, Alanga. And then on the bench you had Henderson, Bailey, Fernandes, Jones, Fred, Lingard, Cavani, Garnacho, and Rashford. What did you think of that when you first saw it? For me, I actually liked it. I was really happy with the lineup, and it proved to be a very professional lineup to start the game. So, what do you think, Emad?
Yeah, the lineup was good. I mean, it's always going to be a positive lineup if you look at the grand scheme of things. I mean, Juan Mata finally got a start. I think it was only I'm not sure about the numbers, but they're in single digits in terms of how many starts he's had this season. And I'm sure we're going to touch on his United career that he's had at some stage during the pod. But you think about what we've done to him. We signed him at 25 years old. But I'm glad to see on his last appearance at Old Trafford that he's put a performance that everyone knows that he can put in, and he delivered again.
It was good. It was good to see, mate. That little one-touch football around the edge of the box, and that passing
brains,
move.
man. It's just brains. He's got the brains.
Oh, it was just class to watch. It really was, And we watched. I watched earlier before the pubcast, and Tom was trying not to make it a one matter pod, but you got to give the bloke credit. It's hard not to after the way he played today.
I don't imagine how Tom felt. It's his favourite player, and to see his favourite player put in a shift and put in a performance like he did, that he knows he can put in on his last game at Old Trafford, it pulls at the heartstrings a little bit, don't you think?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, for sure. Like, everyone knows the class he's in, and I've been calling it most of the year he should be starting as well, or playing a lot more, being a lot more involved. That's for sure. Like, he's a smart player. He never stops moving. He finds the holes really easy. You can see the way he was connecting with Ronaldo today. Like, if he gets more, look, you can't, the past is gone, but anyone that watches a lot of football can see he's got the brains and he's got the engine. I heard it on one podcast today that they don't think he would have been involved. Well, sorry, I actually brought up the question that teams actually let us play with the ball, but our biggest problem was we couldn't break them down. Now, for me, a player like Juan Mata can break teams down. When you bring him into the back end of a game and you're struggling to get the win or you're struggling to get a draw out of the game, bringing him in with 15 minutes to go ain't going to break down a team. If you start him in the game and play him for 60 minutes or even the 40 to 45 minutes just to break down that side, you're well ahead of the other side to start straight away, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? You're the analyst, Vim.
Yeah, I mean, technically he's very gifted. He's got a deft touch, and he runs into space. He just seems to be far more composed than Bruno has been this season, and it's almost like, well, he's showing Bruno how to do it. You keep it simple. You don't have to keep making these wayward passes. You don't have to keep flicking the ball around everywhere. You just slow the game down a little bit. He makes it look so easy. And if Mata's going and he's giving up that number eight shirts goes to Bruno. I hope Bruno takes a few lessons from this in this masterclass, because that effectively what it was.
I actually thought Mata was able to create more space for Bruno. I actually thought that. I actually thought every time Mata created space for himself, it allowed Bruno to find that other little bit of space and allow him to get forward with purpose instead of getting forward without anyone else knowing. So, for me, I thought Bruno had a really good game today as well. But in saying that, I thought Mata allowed that for him.
Yeah. And there's one more thing as well to bear in mind with this as well, is that with Bruno, Fred, and McTominay, there was not enough creativity. So maybe this is also showing us that the midfield has to be more creative, and it has to have more creative players to allow us to play more expansive football. And so maybe this is also showing us that we've lacked creativity, and maybe if we had Bruno and Mata starting more games together, we might have had a better season.
When you play a system with 2 6s for the majority of the season,
yeah,
and Bruno as your number 10, he is the creative outlet. He's supposed to be the Picasso in the side.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you replaced him with Mata and Mata was on his own, he may have also struggled. So the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes we need a little bit more creativity in midfield. Fred and McTominay, McTominay, as hard as they work, they don't have that creative spark as Mata.
I think they were trying to get Pogba involved in that as well, but
yeah, but he's also going.
We were deploying Pogba in positions that I'm not going to say he's unfamiliar with, but just not in a position that Pogba should be deployed in. Now, as a number 10, Bruno played number 10 last season on his own for majority of the season, and he done very well. This season, I put it down to his poor form, and then for whatever other reason, he just wasn't finding the right passes. And you look today, and I know today he had a decent game, but you look in that, and I spoke to you about this already earlier, Adam, in the 67th minute, something like that. I'm not sure. It was around that time, in between the 65th and the 70th minute. The ball got rolled out to Bruno, and you can just see it. I can picture his brain just going, and he's just whacked this ball straight in the air and put Varane under pressure just for no reason. And I could see what he was trying to do, but just in the way he carried out that pass, it was just very reckless.
Yeah.
And he does that a lot. He has this idea in his head that he needs to pull off this big diagonal switch every game. He does it all the time.
Look,
last season it was
at the beginning of the game, beginning of the game, I thought Brentford actually started better than us again.
I thought they were going to score within 30 seconds.
Yeah, look, De Gea kept us in the game in the first 15 minutes. There was a save. He saved Christian Eriksen and Ivan Toney in the first 15 minutes. of the second half as well. So, in the first few minutes of the first half, we're under the pump, and then the second half was the same thing in the first 15. So, it wasn't all one way. But then again, you got to look at Ronaldo on the 26th minute, I think it was. There was a penalty call there where he was contacted. And it was a great interchange between Juan Mata and Elanga. And then the one-touch football was just brilliant. It was fantastic to watch that kind of football, and that's the kind of football I want to see.
Did you also notice how Ronaldo had a lot more support around him as well? He was he was doing a lot more layoffs on the ball. So with Ronaldo, all the defenders and midfield, they fear him. So when he gets the ball in that 12-yard box, he's literally got 3 or 4 players around him trying to get the ball off him. He's then creating space for others to lay the ball off. Did you see how many times that he was laying the ball off to Juan Mata, Elanga, Bruno, and so on?
Well, there was that chance
having
on
that
the 32nd minute.
Yeah, so having that support around him also made a difference in this game. And previously, he's not had that support. He's been isolated.
Yeah, I wish when Mata and I think it was Mata, Elanga, and Ronaldo got involved, and Ronaldo's decided to flick it through his legs, and Mata had that shot on goal. Yeah, I was up. I thought it was going in, that one. I wish Mata had to put that away, and then Mata set up Ronaldo as well, but that was disallowed for offside. So the combinations between those two all game was crazy good. So
even that offside one, it was just like, if you just rule the offside out in your head for a second and you just see the celebration, like just two absolute masters of the game, coming together, scoring a goal. And I know it wasn't allowed, but scoring a goal, celebrating together is just it's a picture that should be saved. And I know it's around on the internet, and that it's a picture that should be saved by a lot of United fans. It was a really good sight to see.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant, mate. And I know over the last few weeks we've been saying Ronaldo's a different player since he's come back from that layoff, but he did it again. Like he lost the ball in the middle of the pitch. He chased 30 meters, won the ball back. It was so good to see. It's like he's trying to prove to Eric Ten Hag that he deserves to be in that squad next year. And it's crazy to watch. Just to see these. What do you got? You got Matic. Look, we're forgetting about Matic at the moment. Like, he had a great game as well. He was on fire as well. He's 33. Mata's 34. Ronaldo's 37. They've shown, like, the one thing I really did enjoy in this game too, and I know I'm a little bit excited, and I know it's only Brentford, but there was a bit of a lesson in there for the left back of Brentford when Ronaldo, it was a 1v1 and the ball was put out to the side and Ronaldo chased, and Ronaldo dropped the shoulder on the 24-year-old. He thought Ronaldo would give up on that ball. And then he come back in, the 24-year-old wiped him out for the penalty, and Ronaldo executed the penalty beautifully. It was a good lesson for the 24-year-old to think, a strikers of Ronaldo's quality would give up on a ball.
Only he took the penalty against Arsenal.
Oh, yeah. I bet you that was the first thing that went through everyone's mind too, I bet.
It was a relief, wasn't it, to see him step up and take the penalty. And you could see him still gasping for breath. He had worked so much on that right-hand side to win that penalty. He was still out of breath going up to the spot. I was just amazed with his work rate again. He's really put a shift in. He was back defending a few minutes later at the left back position. He was defending the corner straight after the penalty. It was fantastic to see him up and down that pitch. I was really impressed with Ronaldo.
One player in the game that I thought not went missing, but I didn't think he had much involvement was Alex Telles. At one stage, I didn't even realize he was on the pitch. I actually was looking for him, and he had a very, very quiet game. I don't know if somebody had words with him just to stick to the basics this week or what, but to me, he didn't have much involvement. A lot of it was coming from the right-hand side. Delo a couple of times put a couple of beautiful over-the-top balls. in the first half, but then I think it was the second half where he was ballooning a lot of his crosses. I thought the second half he wasn't as good as the first half, or vice versa. I
Do you
can't remember
do
what
you
it
know
was.
how long he's contracted for? Does he have another year or two left on his contract? I wonder if he's been distracted by something.
Delo or Teles?
Tell us.
Yeah, I don't know. He's probably just got caught up with everyone else as well. So
Yeah, yeah, because that's a few weeks he's been performing quite badly. I just wonder if something's happened to the guy. Has he been distracted? Is it his contract negotiations? Is it the dressing room? His focus is not there as much as it used to be, and it's showing in his performance.
yeah. Well, and then you move on to Rafael Varane got his first goal in the 71st minute.
Yeah,
That,
it's
that was
brilliant.
nice to see, because he did have a couple of close ones this year. I think he hit the crossbar a couple of times, and I think there was one where
He scored one and it got ruled out because Maguire was offside.
yeah, Maguire was. That's what I was thinking. I was trying to think who was
Yeah, I
offside.
remember that.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was either Maguire was offside or Maguire had
It was
fouled someone.
Maguire. Yeah, Maguire had gone into an offside position, and I think he had
yeah.
also blocked the view of the goalkeeper.
I think
He's
it was
just
something like
always in the wrong place.
poor bloke.
Poor bloke.
Look, all in all, I thought it was a very good performance by United.
Yeah,
And we can sit here and say it was only Brentford and everything, but like Emad said at the beginning of the show, is why couldn't we get this out of the players right through the whole season? And
yeah,
it's very disappointing as a fan to very disappointing as a fan to watch a game like that and wonder why they can't perform like that through the
yeah.
year.
But
Absolute
then,
craziness.
Very
mm,
bittersweet. It was a
yeah,
bittersweet feeling. To
but
know, and we've all
mm,
known the quality of the players we've had all season long, and we know that they can all play and produce performances like that. And I don't know what it is. Is it because there's no pressure? There's no pressure on trying to make the top four anymore, so they felt a bit relieved, or because we're mathematically now out of the equation. I think when I say mathematically, something
it's
drastic
it's
has to
it's
happen.
unlikely. It's unlikely because
Like
you're not
something
expecting
drastic has to
Spurs
happen with
and
Spurs and Arsenal.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what it is, and that's what's bitter. That's what is bittersweet about it. All season they could have performed something like this, and okay, I can understand. City and Liverpool are light years ahead of us, but we should have been putting teams away of Brentford's stature all season long, and clean sheet, 3 goals. We were struggling for clean sheets almost every week. We were struggling to score goals every week.
So this thought I had earlier, and it does kind of lead us on to the next point. But it was again the timing of a performance when the Glazers are now being called out again. There's going to be a 73rd minute protest of players walking out. Was this all staged perfectly? Were the players incentivized to go out and perform and make sure they put on a good show for the last team home game? It makes you wonder, why is it taking so long to get a performance like this? And it happens to be on the day that there's going to be further protests. Do you think there's any link there?
Look, go ahead.
No,
What? No, go,
no,
Emad. You're right. Go ahead, mate.
I know that the protest was planned was supposed to be a mass walkout at the 73rd minute of the match. 1 minute representing every year the Glazers have been in charge. How effective do you think that was? Because from what I saw, and I know the cameras panned to it, only like for a short minute or so. How effective do you think that was in terms of the global view? Because for me, I was like, a couple of people walked out. It didn't look like it was a mass walkout.
Well, we had from the supporters club here in New South Wales. We had Nick Wheeler. He was actually at the game. He used to actually work for Manchester United at their foundation. Anyway, he messaged me this afternoon, and he actually sent me a couple of photos. And I actually said to him, I said, "How many people walked out?" And I said, "Was it just a few hundred?" And he goes, "Yeah, it wouldn't have been any more than a few hundred." So
He
It
even said it didn't look
wasn't a
like a few
huge.
hundred.
You know, you got
It didn't.
72,000 people there, and 300 people walk out.
It didn't even look like that. I was watching
Yeah.
the rerun today, and you could see one group
It looked like a
lighting the
handful of
yellow
people.
and green flares, and you could see maybe a few people being shepherded out that were making their way out. It didn't seem like a lot, or maybe it was televised that way to make it look like it's it's only a handful of people that are protesting.
Well,
This is
he
And the
sent
other
me
the other
some
thing as
photos.
well,
So he sent
the
me
other
some
thing as
my
well,
photos. So
issue
I'll
with
post
these
them in this
freaking
movie.
protests. My issue with these protests, and I'm all for this whole anti-Glazer agenda thing, and I know they're terrible owners, and that's a whole pot on its own. My issue with this protest, the amount of people outside the ground marching towards the stadium, lighting their flares, singing their anti-Glazer chants, holding up their banners, fantastic. Okay, but if you've planned the mass walkout and only, well, from what I saw, it looked like only a handful. You're saying that your man on the ground out there saying a few hundred, if that, it's not going to be effective. If these guys who are protesting, and look, it's pretty rich coming from me. I'm on the other side of the world, so I can't be a part of any of it. But if these guys are serious about this protest, and this is just my opinion, the Stretford end, right, where a lot of these groups have their season tickets, don't go to the game. Don't turn up. Have your protest outside. Stay outside, because it'll look a lot worse on TV when there's an empty stand from kickoff to full time.
So do you think they would have been more walkouts if we were losing? Let's say at the 73rd minute. Let's supposing
No, I
we were
don't.
2-1 down, or we were 2-0 down, and we had a poor performance like we did against Chelsea or Arsenal. Do you think there would have been more walkouts? Because I was just wondering, have the players been incentivized to put on a good show to make sure we don't lose, so we can, perhaps
But then
appease
you can
the
ask that
supporters
question
that are
about
there?
last week's game then against Chelsea, because they walked in after 17 minutes. What was the point? Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's going to be protests, it needs to be in unison. More people need to do it. Anyway,
Anyway,
let's go.
let's
Yeah, I mean,
let's move on from this, because I want to keep this pod
short and sweet.
positive. I want to keep it positive for Juan Mata. I want to keep it positive for Nemanja
It doesn't
Matic.
matter, mate.
Doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
All right, and look, I want to talk about how long they've been at the club, and a couple of good moments for the boys. So look, Mata is 34 years old. He's played 283 games for us. He scored 51 goals, which is great. 51 goals, great effort. We've got Matic. He's 34. He's had 283 appearances and 4 goals. So look, we got a lot more. And I think Matic joined in 2017, and Mata came in via helicopter, from what I remember, in 2014. I bet you at times he wanted to fly back out on that helicopter at times, I tell you.
It was Moyes' first signing.
Yeah, so, I reckon, mate, he's flown in. I reckon a couple of seasons in, he wanted back out. But, mate, he's a true professional, Matter, isn't he? And two things that come to mind, and I'm sure you boys remember it, is Juan Mata scoring his, overhead kick versus Liverpool in 2015. We got a double there and won us the game 2-1. Emad, you brought it to my attention about Nemanja scoring the volley against Crystal Palace on that 3-2 to get us the win there. So, and I still remember. What do you remember about Nemanja Matic's volley?
I believe Mourinho was in charge, and I don't know if it was Matic's first goal or not, but I know he only scored 4 goals. But I remember that game. I think we won it 2-1. I remember 1-1 because that goal was late. I don't know if it was in stoppage time or just coming up to the 90th
it was in stoppage time. Yeah.
And then I remember when the ball came out, and I think he took it on the chest, and I was thinking at the time, I mean, he just hit it.
Yeah.
What's the worst going to happen? Either goes in or it misses, But I remember losing it in the living room that morning.
Yeah, I mean, you look at goals like that, and then look, you look back now, or even from 2015 to present. I always, whenever Matic got around the box, I was always the type of person to always say, "Mate, you've got to hit one." He brought out the confidence in me to go, "I want you to hit it," but he never really did he?
No. I remember when he was playing for Chelsea. I think it was against Spurs, one of the cup semis or a cup quarterfinal or something. Can't remember which cup. He hit an absolute rocket from outside the box. And that's what I thought, he was like, and I know he's got it in the locker, but I was hoping to see more of that at his time at United. People always say, "Oh, we wish that we had him, 5 years ago, or 6 years younger," things like that in his prime, and that's probably when we should have had him at United. But unfortunately, he was at Chelsea that time. But he's been a great servant for United. He's always fought for the cause, put a shift in. I know he came in under Mourinho. Is that the birthday girl? You've lost your sound.
I'm going to take it to you now, Vim, with your daughter. And happy birthday, young darling. I want you to tell us, Spoon, that you're the analyst and you love technical tiki-taka football. I want your opinion on the one.
The one.
And only.
The one
and only.
The one and only Mata.
One.
Yeah. I want
Yeah,
your
I loved
opinion
it.
on his footwork, his
I mean,
mentality.
it was brilliant. It was genuinely a masterclass. The guy showed other midfielders how it should be done. He's picking up the ball deep from the defenders. He was floating around in midfield. He looked like the kind of player that could fit quite easily into a Man City squad. He fits that type of one touch football, tiki-taka style. He was providing service to Ronaldo. He was always hovering around Ronaldo. He was everywhere in the pitch. It's just a real shame that we didn't use more of him throughout the season. I think it would have made a real difference.
I reckon over the last few years, I think United actually ruined his career. To be honest with you, they absolutely ruined it. And the guy has got so much class about him, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. I was fortunate enough with Tom to meet Juan Mata a couple of times there. We made a flag for Tom, and twice Juan Mata came over, had a chat with us both, and so I was fortunate enough to meet him, and he was a great servant for United. I just wish Manchester United had treated him a lot better, and even Nemanja Matic. I think we could have got a lot more out of both players. It's a real shame because, for me, Matic was a fantastic six. He's got good brain on him, and he works hard into that position. And Juan Mata the same. His footwork. He was part of Spain's greatest side, arguably, and World Cup winner.
Champions League winner with Chelsea. Like I said earlier, Adam, we signed him at 25.
Yeah.
And he spent 9 years at United, and now he's looking like that he's leaving us at 34 years old. And I know you mentioned his appearances there, but I don't think we utilised him the way he should have been. We played him a lot on the right wing. I can guarantee you, had he been starting a lot more games and playing in his correct 10 position, or just to the right of the 10, he'd have a lot more goals than 51 goals for United.
Yeah, 100%.
He's an absolute master of the game, and he'd be sadly missed at United. Honestly, he's more or less a cult hero there. So good luck to him wherever he goes, and same for Nemanja. Not so much for Jesse Lingard. Did you see his brother's post on social media?
Yeah, let's not finish on that. All right.
What a grub.
Well, I was gonna. Yeah, it was not a great post. But have you seen now where we are in the table? So we are 6 points ahead of West Ham. So it looks like we may have potentially cemented that Europa League 6th position, because Arsenal and
West Ham have
Arsenal,
games ahead of us.
West Ham
the
are on
results
35
put
games.
United on 58 points from 36 matches, 6 ahead of West Ham United, who have a game in hand for 6th place and a spot in the Europa League. So,
and Arsenal, Tottenham have 2 games in hand on us. So I think it'll be
We need something
It's not-
catastrophic to happen to those two for us
Yeah.
to make the top four.
But then they did have some losses, and we didn't capitalize on it further on, and that's probably when we did really lose that fourth position.
Who's
So
up-
Europa
who's
League,
up
here we
next for
come.
us, Brighton?
Sorry,
Brighton
say
away.
that again.
Brighton away for us up next.
Brighton next, yep. And we'll have a pre-game show on that this week. So anyway, we'll finish the pod on that. And it was, we had two great careers finishing up in Juan Mata and Nemanja Matic, and I was proud of the boys getting them a win and sending them on a good farewell. And until next time, everyone, thanks EMADS, thanks Vim. Remember,
Take
people,
care.
like, share,
I just have to go
subscribe,
back.
please.
I just have to go back in the boardroom there with Ten Hag. If
Yeah.
everyone can see, I'm
Can
at the
you ask
Ajax
him-
training facility.
Yeah.
Can
Can you
I'm
ask
trying
him
to
who he wants to
negotiate
keep?
another contract for Juan Mata. Hopefully, get him another season.
Can you ask him who else he wants to keep from the current squad?
He wants to keep Harry, I think.
Yeah.
Harry? Oh no.
All right, boys, let's finish it on that. I'll talk to you later. See you, mate.
See ya.
See you, mate.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Bye.